Welcome to another episode of Mother's War on Violence. Your podcast, you're listening to 89.9 FM radio with WCBU, our sponsor. Thank you. And I'll be your host. My name is Yolanda Wallace, and today I've been looking at the July 27, 2020 Prison Policy Initiative article. And it was underlining the racial disparity in policing, arrest, and incarceration. It affects more than just adults. It affects kids as well. Within those incarcerations, there are within those being arrested and being incarcerated, wrongfully incarcerated, there are 3,284,000 or either 3,310 people that are exonerated since 1989, according to the National Registry. And today, I have in our studio a young man who was wrongfully accused and has been exonerated. And his name is Mr. Roosevelt Myles. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Yolanda, for having me on the show.
Sure. We're going to start by you telling me what happened to you and what your story was. Go ahead.
I can tell you in short terms because if I tell you the entire thing, it takes a while. But 1992, I was leaving a friend's house on the west side of Chicago. I heard shots fired coming out of his friend's house. And so I went back upstairs, knocked at the door and said, "Did you hear that?" My friend said, "Yes." So I left out and I saw some more friends sitting in the car. I told them I was going to a pool tournament around the corner, and that's where I'd be at. So as I got to the corner and got to the place I was shooting pool at, I decided I didn't have no cigarettes. So I said, well, let me walk back. This is my neighborhood, and I've been in this neighborhood for 24 years. This is my neighborhood. So I said, well, let me go to the submarine place and get some cigarettes. As I was going, I met up with a brother and a sister, and we walked. And as I crossed the street, the police bum rushed me and took me over to a car, and as witnesses was this me. Was I the offender? Now, I never knew that somebody had died. I didn't know none of that.
Okay.
And they said, no, it wasn't me. And I got police information, they let me go. So, back in my neighborhood, doing what I do, 21 days later, police in my neighborhood and looking for me. And when they came on the block, I didn't run. I walked to the police car and asked me who was Roosevelt Myles. I said, that's me.
Right.
And they threw me in the police car. And that's the last time I saw my freedom for 28 years. The shooting happened 2 blocks from where I was at.
Okay.
So, and that they made this witness testify and said it was me, knowing that it wasn't me.
And who was they?
The Chicago police.
Okay.
The state's attorney.
State's attorney, okay.
And the judge, because he had the power to say yay or nay. It's a trifecta effects when a person has been put in prison for a crime he didn't do.
Right.
It starts with the police, then it goes to the state's attorney's office, then it goes to the judge. The judge had the power to say, no, it's not him. No, this is not right. He's supposed to be the mediator of law. Yeah, he wasn't. He allowed the state's attorney and the police to concoct a story, coerce a witness to testify and say it was me.
But why did they think it was you if you were just minding your own business in your neighborhood?
That question is still in the air because nobody know why. Was it the reason that, okay, they pulled me over, they stopped me that night, and okay, get him, they got a name, and let's make him put this case on him. They beat me for at least 7 hours with a phone book and a flashlight,
light,
because I hadn't did anything, so I had no reason to say, okay, I done this, and when I didn't even know the facts of everything. Actually, I didn't never see the picture of the body until 2018. Imagine, this happened in 92.
Right.
So I never saw a picture. For that long, I was in prison for a crime or a face I didn't even know nothing about. So they beat me, and so when I wouldn't, he came 3 times to beat me. First time he beat me, second time I told him, okay, I'll tell you what you want to know. So he sent in the state's attorney. Well, the state's attorney, she came in, and she asked me, well, you want to make a statement? No. I said, no, ma'am, I just want to stop the beating. So I'm letting her know I'm being beaten. Help me. Help me. And what she did, she went back out there and told me. He came back in and started to beat me some more.
Oh, my.
So I didn't have a chance. What made him say it was me, we don't have a clue.
Did you look like somebody they knew, or
the witnesses knew me. That's the bad part about it. They know me. It was my neighborhood, and they told the police, no, it's not him. It's not him. But 21 days later, when it went into these homicide detectives' hands, they forced this witness to say it was me. They went by this young girl. She was 15. Went by the house 6 times to make her say it was me. And little did they know that they was putting me in prison for a crime I didn't do, but little did they know that I was an educated person. And so with that said, I never gave up on believing my innocence, knowing that I got to fight now. So I went to trial, all white jury, one black lady, all white jury, found guilty of first-degree murder with attempted armed robbery. No
what was the attempt to armed robbery?
Because the witness said that as the victim came out, I was supposed to be up under a porch at 2-something in the morning. Soon the victim and both victims came out of the house, and soon as they stepped on the soil, I said, this is a stick up. He raised his hand, and I was supposed to shot him, and didn't touch the other person. That don't even sound right.
It doesn't. And then I see it's been all over the media, the papers, different. I think we've even covered in WCBU before. It says that 26 years later, the woman finally admits that she lied.
Yes.
Convicted a man of a murder in Chicago.
Yep. She called my attorneys, which is, her name is Jennifer Bonjean, but she's out of New York. She called my attorney to tell my attorney that no, it wasn't me.
What brought this on? Did she?
She said this had almost turned her into an alcoholic. It was eating her conscience away, and she tried to warn everybody in the neighborhood that it wasn't me. Tell the police it wasn't me, but she had received death threats as well. Okay. So it took a lot for her to even say this, but more than that, it took a lot for her to come to my hearing December the 5th, 2022. Knowing that her life was at stake, and it wasn't the victim's family, more or less it was the police, because the guy that I'm chasing is a detective named Anthony Wojcik. And I'm not gonna let him get away with what he done to me. And this was the same detective signed off on the Laquan McDonald shooting.
Okay.
He's the lieutenant at that time. He was a detective when he was put the case on me. He was a lieutenant on the Laquan McDonald case. He the one that spilled coffee on the original report and threw it away and rewrote it.
And that's in Chicago.
That's in Chicago.
Now I hope the police ain't doing none of that here. I've not heard any cases
you got
like
good,
that.
You got good cops and you got bad cops.
Yeah, everywhere, right?
That's everywhere. And they always talking about, well, that's just one in the barrel. It's not it's the barrel that's tainted. It's not it's the barrel. When you jump
what do you mean
that,
by that?
I mean the whole system is tainted.
Yeah.
So once you become a police, either you can go or you don't have to go. And the system is tainted so bad because right now I got a letter from the Department of Justice thanking me for my help in the investigation into the Chicago police. So that was at the same time they were doing a consent decree on them. Now my lawyer that worked on my case now, he's working for the government. Actually, he's working on the consent decree for Cook County, and he's a good lawyer, and he's going to see that it's done right. My case is not like everybody's case. My
No,
case
it's
is totally
very
different.
rare.
It's totally different from anybody because at the end of the day, in 1992, I was picked up. 1996, I was found guilty. 1998, I did my appeal myself. I received my paralegal certificate in 1997. 1998, I did my post-conviction myself. 1999, it was shot down. I appealed it. It was put back in court. 2000, they granted me a evidentiary hearing. They never brought me to court. It took them 22 years to hear it. You hear me? 22 years to give me my justice. So at that time, I got the longest running post-conviction petition, not just in the country, but in the world.
Wow.
And everybody knows about it. I did a show about it, and it's sad that we as humans go through this.
Yeah.
Nobody should go through what I've been through.
No.
And like I said, my case is not like no other case. That it was intentional prosecuted misconduct. It wasn't like, okay, my fault, I picked them out, I was wrong. No, you made this witness say it was me. This witness come to testify December the 5th, 2022, on my behalf to tell a state that they got it wrong, it wasn't me. And she had told everybody that it wasn't me. So as they saw this individual to tell the truth, they immediately dropped the case against me, exonerated me right then and there.
That's good.
Because the case was not mine, and the state knew it. They fault.
Right. And is this case, have it ever been, solved? Did anybody else come forward? Well, probably not, but.
No, not that I know of. And I was asked one, are you trying to find out who did the murder? I said, that's not my job. See, the police, that's their job.
They asked you that?
Yes, I was asked that by someone. And that's not my job. That's the police job. Because they got it wrong when they put the case on me. They knew what they were doing.
So you think that they probably didn't do their full investigation? Is that why?
They didn't do any investigation.
They didn't do any investigation.
No.
They just told, the state's attorney just told someone to just say that he is the one.
The police beat me. The police beat me. State's attorney had the right to say no. There's no evidence. There was no evidence. Wasn't no residue, no gunpowder residue, nothing. Wasn't no evidence whatsoever. It was a witness that said it wasn't me. Then it was me. Then it wasn't me. Then it was me. Then it wasn't me. That's how I ended up in prison.
Right.
The witness first told the police they did not see her face. This is what they told the beat police that was at the time at the scene at that time. They told them that. 21 days later, after this homicide detective got in and coerced these witnesses, now they seen my face. At first they said they didn't see nobody. Now, in police history, all investigators know is what the first time when a witness says what they go on. Well, yeah, you didn't take that in hand. You took it and ran with something else and put this case on me. I guess you figured that I wasn't going to fight. I became Cook County's worst nightmare.
Right. So this must happen quite often there in Cook County, Chicago.
Yeah, well, Cook County got the highest rate of wrongful convictions. But not just that, Illinois as well. It happens all over Illinois.
Yes, the state of Illinois has a very high, reputation for,
wrongful convictions.
Convictions.
And that sheet you guys called the National Honorary Registry, it takes a lot to get on that list. That's an Oscar. That is an Oscar to us.
Right, and you on that list.
I'm on that list.
I know.
And not only that, I just came from the National Innocent Network Convention in Phoenix, Arizona. They were there, and out of all these people, I just walked up to the booth just to see what they was doing. And immediately the guy that's running the booth said, "How you like being on the exoneration list?" I say, "Wow." I say, "Wow." And just seeing my name on a big Teletron, my whole picture of me, and people applauding me, it really brought back so much in me. And just to see the love from individuals that have been wrongly convicted in the world, not just America, in the world. Because you got people from Israel, China, and Japan that was never wrongfully convicted. So this is real. When people don't think it's real, this is real. And and people don't pay attention to it happen to them.
When you were incarcerated, did you have any? I'm sure you made friends there. Did you have any that were wrongfully convicted as you were, or?
You know, they always say when you're guilty, you fight for a very short period. When you're innocent, you still fight. I'm still fighting. You know, and it's a crew of us that still fight. Mm-hmm. When I went down to this Innocent Network conference in Arizona, every time I ate with my friends I met in prison.
Did you?
That was wrongly convicted. That got exonerated.
Well, that's
you
good.
know, and we talk, we hug, we do everything. We break bread together because this is family. We are family for the rest of our life.
Bonded by this pain.
Being bonded by it. And I got, like I said, once again, I got the best law firm in the country. You know, Bonjean Law Firm. Jennifer is great. Ashley is great. And
you've been able to refer her to the other wrongfully convicted people?
Yes. While I was there, I had a family come down from Naperville. They talked to one of the attorneys.
Okay.
She has the highest turnover rate, I think. Jennifer had 7 exonerees for 2022. She got out 7 people.
So that means that
Carl Leonard had about 6 from Lovey and Lovey.
Okay, so they were wrongfully convicted, and these attorneys got their cases
overturned. Yep, they brought the law, and they showed them how it's impossible for persons to do that crime. With me, there was no evidence, so we couldn't argue evidence. There was no evidence. It was intentionally, so that would make my case different from everybody else. It was intentionally. Wasn't no evidence. You put this case on me. I was an innocent man. You just picked up off the street and said, give him a murder, take his life, turn his life upside down. So with that said, as I live today, I live as a free man, but as still, some people look at me as having an X on my back, even though it's not there, because when I go fill out applications, I got a 28-year absent.
Right.
I got a 28-year absent.
And they ask you if you've been wrongfully convicted of a felon or something like that.
But they can't, you know, United States law saying they can't ask me if I've been convicted of a crime unless they're giving me an interview. So if an application says that application needs to be tore up and they need to be reported. Because at the end of the day, you cannot judge an applicant when he's filling out an application. You only can judge him after they go through the process and they get an interview.
But you know that question is on every application.
Yeah, they have to take it off. They got to take it off. And you don't have to answer it. If it's on there, you don't even have to answer that. And they know this.
Okay.
They put it on there so they know people going to answer. Yeah, I've been convicted.
Right.
You know, but my answer, I tell everybody, I tell my employees just like this. If I get an interview, I tell them, yeah, I was only convicted. You can read about me. I got the X on my paperwork that's showing that this case has been abolished. I don't know if I have it on my back. I keep my paperwork with me. I got it laminated so people can see it. It's my Oscar.
Right.
You know, so
I understand.
I had trouble finding a few jobs, but I do what I do. I do speaking engagements. Actually, I'm finna go to Kiwani Correctional Center in a couple of weeks, I guess. I just got to fill out the paperwork. I'm going to Peoria Juvenile Detention Center. I just spoke at Illinois State. Just spoke out there. I just spoke out Chicago State University. I just spoke at Columbia College.
That's great. So how do you feel to be a free man from all this stuff?
I was free when I was in prison. I didn't let them, they only caged my body, my soul, my spirit was always free.
Your mind, okay.
You know,
now what would you say to someone who's listening, our listening audience, and they have felt like they've been wrongfully convicted of a crime?
Well, this is what I say. If you're wrongly convicted, you're going to fight. Evidence is going to prove. You just got to keep going. But if you know you've done this and you fighting, saying you're wrongly convicted, then you're playing with yourself. You know, this is serious. This is somebody's life. So if you're wrongly convicted, fight. Don't give up, fight. You know, I wrote 1 million letters. I wrote the state's attorneys. I wrote Dick Durbin. I wrote Obama. I wrote everybody. And so when my name hits people's desks, some people know who I am automatically. So you got the right. They might call you a bugaboo, but you an innocent man doing time for somebody else crying. Be a bugaboo, but that's what I was. You know, I ran through 4 typewriters fighting my case. I'm a paralegal as well now. Today, I'm a paralegal. I'm still the voice for the voiceless. I'm very involved in the turnaround. I'm very involved in that. I'm very involved reentry program. I'm very involved cure violence. I'm everywhere. I try to put my foot in.
And you making purpose out of your pain.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I vowed to myself, that young man that was killed was called 16 shots of Laquan McDonald. Your death didn't go in vain. I got you, brother. I'm going to make them pay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Roosevelt Myles, for joining Mothers War on Violence. And we wish you well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for having me. And before you cut, it was something I knew you wanted to know, and you didn't ask me.
What was that?
What's my mission for Peoria?
That's right. That's exactly it.
My mission is to save Peoria. Peoria is in dire need of help.
It is.
And for all these leaders that's out there, y'all need to listen to what I have to say. I'm here to help. I'm sitting in your backyard. Y'all know me, and y'all can get in touch with me anytime, anywhere.
Okay.
My email address is rmfreedom2022@gmail.com. Get with me. I'm answering. I'm there, and I'm everywhere. Thank you for having me, Ms. Wallace.
Thank you so much, Mr. Myles.